Roger Goodell, when commenting on why the NFL is looking for a 1-year suspension, at least against Deshaun Watson, labeled his actions both egregious and, quote, said that the behavior was predatory. Those are not soft statements. That's making a stance. That stuff you cannot walk back. It's not trying to toe a line there at all, DRS. You and I have, I think, often felt like the NFL didn't really want to deal with any of this, trying to kind of wash their hands as much as they could. This is straightforward here from Roger Goodell. They even went as far as to say that in some of Judge Robinson's findings, they feel even more emboldened to push forward with this 1-year suspension, a disagreement on her ruling in terms of the 6 games. But that was the interesting part of what Judge Robinson had put forward, saying that under the NFL's policy, Watson is guilty, for lack of a better exact phrase there. I view this as another sign that we are looking at a much longer suspension than just 6 games for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, they're not talking around it now, talking about the NFL here, and Roger Goodell get in front of a microphone and very sternly saying, like, yeah, the judge said exactly what we were thinking, where it was predatory and egregious, and this is definitely against a code of violations for the NFL. Now, in the past, Kevin, as we've known, Roger Goodell has been judge, jury, and executioner. So they said, all right, well, let's have a little bit better public favor here. We'll have a third-party arbiter come in and see what they can handle. 6 games, unacceptable. Now, the one thing that I do find is quite, see where this leads, like I would say, like in the next 2 years when you're talking about the collective bargaining agreement and how we actually get these fines and also suspensions, is Roger Goodell didn't like, and the NFL didn't like the way it turned out with this judge, right? 6 games, that's ridiculous. So I'm going to appoint another person who we've used before, which is Peter C. Harvey, a former New Jersey attorney general, who has, ruled favorably in the NFL's opinion. What happens if he takes this? Because, it's 10 games. Like, why doesn't Roger Goodell, for me, just say, this is mine? I know we didn't agree to this at this point, but, what I say basically goes here. The league where I run, basically behind the owners, they tell me what to do, but certainly I'm the front man on that. Why didn't he just take over this one, Kevin, and say, we're not even going to another third-party arbiter. It's going to be a year plus suspension. I'm hearing it, and that's exactly what's going to take place. If you don't like it, next CBA vote it out, but we're taking a hard-line stance on this one. But it seems to me like this is one of those shoo-ins, right, Kevin, where you say, look, I appointed this guy. We've already let it be known. 6 is unacceptable. We want a year. I would find it interesting, to say the least, if this next guy comes up and goes, 7 games, 8 games at this point. I think it's going to be a year or longer, and the NFL is acting matter of fact like it's going to be a year or longer.